Good evening and welcome to Sports Talk with Kendrick and Dusty, brought to you by Bearno's Pizza. I could go for one of those cauliflower crust pizzas right now.
Sounds so good.
Actually, that might be the plan. Anyway,
That's a really good podcast is over. We'll see you next time.
Right, headed to Bearno's by the bridge.
So good. You know, it's fun fact. First time I came to Louisville, Kendrick took me to Bearno's. And we had the cauliflower pizza.
Yes,
That is the first thing we had.
Yes, we did.
It was so good, man.
Yes, fantastic.
Honestly, that is dinner. That's dinner
That's the
tonight.
play tonight.
Yeah.
While watching the World Cup tonight.
That's a great call. That is a great call right there.
Hey, but it was an exciting night last night at Freedom Hall as the Ville took the floor for the first time in the TBT as they took on War Ready, a team full of former Auburn players. And they put on a show last night for the Freedom Hall crowd. It was over 5,000 people there. It felt like it was more than that. I think they need to do a recount myself. Russ Smith was saying they came in fourth in attendance for most at a TBT game. Russ Smith wants them to be first. So you got to pack the house on Thursday night to make Russ Smith happy. Of course, if they win on Thursday, they play again on Saturday at Freedom Hall. But we can get to some of the highlights from last night. I mean, like I said, over 5,000 people there, including the two most prominent coaches at U of L, Kenny Payne, the basketball coach, and Jeff Brown, the football coach. There's Jordan Wara and David Johnson. A lot of former players there last night. And Montrezl Harrell, who had a lot to say to the other team during the game. He was also coaching a little bit. But getting to the highlights, Peyton Siva had a run. These are back-to-back plays. He has the no-look there to Mayo. Then again, another no-look there to Shinanu Anawaku. The Ville only led by 7 at the half, but they just poured it on in the second half. The play of the night, Chris Dow to Mayo with the body bag.
Disrespectful.
Just disrespectful.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know why that's moving like that. I hope it's just the way it looks on our end. And, of course, Russ Smith puts the game away. They needed, with the Elon ending, they had to score 8 points to end it. And Russ, naturally, he scored all 8 points. Now, of course, they had practice this afternoon. Their next opponent features a former Card in Chris Jones. He and Russ Smith were the backcourt the year after Peyton Siva graduated and left for the NBA with the Detroit Pistons. That's Chris Jones right there practicing. And Russ says he's excited to play against his former teammate.
That's fun. He's one of the best competitors that I played against. Just from basketball, straight talent, homegrown points. So it's gonna be fun. And these guys play hard. These guys are all good. So we'll see what tomorrow brings.
I see Russ excited to play against Chris again. I'll tell you, practice this afternoon for guys, because people have to realize these are 30-plus-year-old men. Yeah. Getting up in the morning after playing a full game is not as easy as it used to be.
I feel like you relate to this all too well, Kendrick, because this is your life every day.
I wish I was a 30-year-old man.
You're working out pretty intensely every day in the office. Kendrick's coming up for a good reason. And today mostly has been the core, right? Is that today's the core?
Yeah, my trainer, Levon Breckenridge, is a crazy person.
If you follow along with us, this is a constant thing. Kendrick's doing this every single day. He's doing
he had his dog in there today.
Did he? Did he treat his dog like he treats you?
The dog immediately took a dump as soon as we walked in the gym.
Of course. It's a well-trained dog. So while he's training you as well as training.
I was like, this is my revenge. This dog is my friend. Because he's making Levon have to do something.
That is awesome.
But getting back to the TBT, it was so much fun being out there because, I covered these guys when they were here. Right. Every one of them. And Chris Dow is one of those. He had 15 points in the game. Local kid. He's the only real local kid on the team. He's the only one from Louisville. And he put on a show. He really sparked the run in the first half. He had the and one, had a couple of baskets in there. And then, I said, that run with Peyton Siva with the no-look passes. And then Russ Smith going full Russ-diculous and scoring the last 8 points, the last 3 with the fadeaway. I mean, it was good defense. There's nothing you could do about it and it to go in. But then, of course, Russ being Russ.
Right.
It wasn't just a game winner. They lift him up and they carried him off like they just won the championship. Russ runs into the crowd and finds his dad and hugs his dad.
That is awesome.
But it was a great night. I said the atmosphere was fantastic out there. It's good to see those guys get that kind of response again back here where they play college ball.
The nostalgia aspect of the TBT, I think, is what's so special. And I think a lot of people kind of that are obviously fans of teams of prior years sitting here, it kind of brings back the good message and the good old days of thinking back to those times. I have a friend that he bets on the TBT. So that just tells you some of these people, they still stick close to these players.
Don't worry about your friends.
We do need to watch out for him.
He
does Locked On Jayhawks, and so he's been keeping on an eye on the Kansas squad. So, he maybe needs to work on
the other good part of last night, too, though, is the current team was there.
Yeah.
And, after the tough year last year, the current team got to see what it's like when this crowd is engaged with this team. I mean, like Peyton Russ both said, it's like, look, we're 10 years removed.
Right.
And so to see the way they reacted, I mean, there was the CARDS chant went up. I mean, the crowd went crazy whenever any of them did anything. And you can see the current players, they were all into it too. And so that's great for them to see what this thing could be if they're successful.
I think that is such a good point because, there is something to say about a program like Louisville where there is, of course, a history that goes way back. And, of course, elephant in the room, this team this past year was not good. And so to be able to have them see guys that obviously were successful, see their work ethic, and even years later, to see that they're still in good shape, that they're still able to do this. I mean, I've seen some of the practice video that you were shooting, of course, and of course what we showed you as well. These guys are still money, man. Like they are still money.
Yeah.
And so what does that say to this younger group that, should be at the top of their game? Well, work ethic doesn't die. Right. And so with the pride of U of L, and these guys have some significant pride in this program, to go out there and do what they did and just dominate Auburn.
Right.
I mean, that is such a cool moment.
And the funny thing is like Auburn was the much younger team.
Yeah.
But they were the ones that looked like they were grabbing their shorts. They were the one that was exhausted in the game. And Auburn saw so many air balls in that game. They had one that went completely behind the backboard. I've never seen an air ball from that angle.
Yeah.
It went behind the backboard. It was amazing.
And that's probably the separation, the difference there. You do have a 2 seed in Louisville. So it is going to be interesting, though, as you preview the next matchup for the Ville as well.
Yeah, they taking on, like I said, they taking on Chris Jones and Jackson, Tennessee underdogs. Like Chris Jones is one of those guys. It wasn't a completely smooth, but it was a pretty smooth transition over from Peyton Siva to Chris Jones. And he was a really good player, and he could shoot. He's not very tall, but neither are Peyton and Russ.
Right.
And so that won't be an issue. but he can get in there. He flat out, for lack of a better term, Chris Jones is a dog.
Yeah.
And he's gonna come in there tomorrow night. He's gonna get some applause. He'll get some reaction from the crowd, but he's going in there to knock off his former teammates. And make no mistake about it. He wants to beat this team.
The expectation for the fans, too, I think this just as if there isn't already a motivation to go and be there. Here's just another way for fans to feel even more connected to what essentially is just another face that brings them back. And to have this kind of minor rivalry. I know that, yes, this is still in retirement, but these guys, like, this is their moment, man. This is their moment to come back to kind of what they were and prove that they've still got it. So don't sit here and think that they're not taking it seriously. I mean, they've got full-blown practices, man.
You look at a guy. We can even go back to showing us some highlights from last night. You look at a guy like Shane Bohannon, who he's legitimately got in shape for this thing. Here's Chris Dow's and one right here. Like I said, this is one that pretty much sparked the run. Shane has gotten in shape for this, and he looks fantastic. If you look at Shane, he doesn't look much different than he did in college.
Right.
The one person who does look different in a good way is Shinanu Anawaku. I mean, he was huge when he was here, but he had a lot of baby fat. He doesn't have any baby fat now.
He's a grown man.
He's a grown man, dog.
That is one grown man.
And I said, here's Russ, this game winner. I said, you knew he was going to shoot it as soon as he got the ball. and I said, here's the celebrity. There's Montrez and Jordan Moore right there.
Oh, my gosh. That is elite. I mean, you can't get this anywhere else.
It was
incredible.
It was so funny. And like I said, they're a great group of guys. I've shown you the video. I mean, I feel like I've known these guys forever now. They pick on me a lot, especially Peyton. But I mean, it's great to see them back playing basketball in Louisville.
Hey, you know what though? They may pick on you, but they're also probably a similar situation as you, Hall of Famer in your high school. So there you go. Let's be honest. Like Kendrick's made strides, baby.
The criteria wasn't very strong.
Well, Kendrick, kind of looking over to a very different sport. We're going to go straight to
and people past their prime.
And people very much, yes. We could say that somehow though they could still outrun me right now. So
well, that's not that
the
ACL. You got one leg.
I'm 7 weeks removed from surgery, and we're starting to kick it every moment today. By the way, on my shoot, every person asked because they're all in shape. Oh
yeah.
Well, I'm at a tennis facility, and it was the Louisville Indoor Racket Club, and these people are very much in shape. So I walk in, rolling in with my boot, rolling in with my camera gear, and every person's like, "What happened to your leg?" And I'm like, honestly, like
it's not. This is not just like your standard boot. This is a full blown thing.
If it was professional, I would kick it up, but I can't even do that with my leg right now. So you just have to picture.
We don't need you re-injured.
No, yeah, I need to be ready for everything that's coming here in the next couple weeks. But I got to tell you, the people there are incredible at Louisville Indoor Racket Club. But we talked to two specific folks. It's a couple, and they met actually on the tennis court. They both played for the U of L, which is very interesting. Kind of a cool backstory. Cool, I guess, in a way. Maybe it's not. They met before Title IX was a thing. So at that time, only the men were competing for U of L, while the women were not. And so this couple, it's crazy. The wife is actually really successful on the court. And you'll see in just a moment what I'm talking about. But I want to introduce you to David and to Susan. This couple has been through a lot, mostly off the court, but to be on the court, this is a moment where they're able to get back to what they love the most.
I'm telling you, this is one tough guy.
As U of L athletes, the Matija couple fell in love on the tennis court, and to this day still have opponents walking away with love on their scorecard.
We made it. We represented the state of Kentucky.
As they punch their ticket to Pittsburgh for the senior games, with Susan shining bright just as she did with the Cardinals.
Susan has made it to the highest level, and for her age and play is remarkable.
Susan finishing in second overall in singles. Meanwhile, in doubles, they just loved being there.
We were 1-3. The one match we won, the other team didn't show.
For David, the road to the games has not been easy. 11 years ago, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
I bounced back from those fairly quickly.
I really thought we were done like at the beginning of September, but I didn't expect him to get cancer again.
In 2022, cancer came back.
I found out that I had a huge cancerous tumor on my left kidney,
forcing the couple to abandon the dream of competing in
found out that I had my left kidney.
While David's kidney was removed in May, cancer did return on the backhand.
It looks like I may have cancer on my lungs and perhaps on one rib.
Despite his battle, David continued to play tennis. The couple would win a gold medal in September at Sawyer Park and qualified for this year's games.
You can be 72 years old and still be out there having a great time.
With Senior Games sponsor Humana naming Susan and David as game changers.
It's very special when people recognize you for being kind of a role model.
Inspiring people that even amidst adversity, there's always a way to rally.
They can get off the couch and they can do a little exercise and they can live a healthy life. They can be happy and they can be an influence on other people.
Kendrick, I gotta tell you, if I look like that at age 70, I'd be pretty thrilled because that is pretty remarkable.
I'll be happy to look like that at 50 in a couple years.
You're gonna get there, man. You're gonna be fine. But I gotta tell you, I love stories of persistence and determination. I just think that there are so many stories out there in this world, and specifically here in Louisville alone. There's plenty of people that haven't had their stories told, and that's one couple right there that obviously hasn't had the opportunity yet. And look what they were able to do. I mean, battling cancer in 3 different types of cancer. That is, so difficult and just something that I can't even put my mind to. I think that, my dad actually had prostate cancer and luckily was able to, make it through that. So the fact that you see somebody else persist and battle the same way. And I got to see my dad do it, in person. That it's such a challenge. Cancer is a real problem. It's a real thing that, it's something that we're going to combat every day. And it's just so sad that, humans have to go through that. But the fact that you can see somebody like David go out there and just put on a smile
without a kidney.
Yeah, without a kidney.
Mm-hmm.
He literally just casually dropped, "Oh yeah, I also think I have cancer now." He said that it's pretty much confirmed to this point that it's a rib has cancer as well as lungs, and it's just, to do what he loves, even with the adversity, it blows my mind. You have to be so mentally strong and just incredible people, by the way. And he credits a lot of his ability to get through this to his wife Susan, who is also equally as strong. It's a team effort at that point. So to see them do what they love on the tennis court as well, that was really special. And this was one of those kind of tear-jerking moments where you sit there and you're like, how is a human being as great as yourself having to deal with this? Like it's just not fair. It's really, quite frankly, not fair. But he was telling me, he's like, I still go out on the court and I still hit the ball around. I get really tired. I get really tired, but I still do it. And applause to him. Tip the cap. Say whatever you want about putting work in. It is just another level when you have something like that you're having to deal with.
All right. And, prayers out to him that, for a speedy recovery and, fight this cancer. It's an ugly thing. I've got a friend of mine that's going through. A lot of people know Sherry Brown. She used to be a trainer for U of L. Yeah. She's a good friend of mine, and she's battling cancer right now. So it really hits home. And prayers out to them, and prayers out to all the doctors and out there researching, trying to find a cure for this ugly disease. But moving on to well, I don't know how you smoothly move on.
You never
do.
This industry it's impossible.
Right. But big night on the pitch.
Big night on the pitch.
As Team USA is back in action in the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, you saw that first match, and first of all, Sophia Smith, she looks great out there.
Yeah.
She is pretty unbelievable. USA is very lucky.
2 goals and an assist. It's not bad in her debut.
What a start. And speaking of debut, Savannah DeMello going back out there. She, it was interesting watching her. She got in on the action quite a bit. She had a couple really solid moments in that. I don't know if there was really a time where she was fully comfortable in the first half, at least. She got tripped up in minutes.
She took a shot early on.
It was brutal. And she got up, she battled, she persisted, and she had a couple really solid corner kicks. They weren't able to fully land just based off good defense. But I think at the end of the day, seeing Savannah kind of get into her routine a little more, and maybe after getting the nerves out initially, we're going to see what I expect to be a very solid performance from her. I'm really excited to see what DeMello does in game 2 as a U.S. women's national team player as well.
Yeah. It's always cool, talking about covering Peyton and Russ. It's always cool to see players that you covered playing at the highest level.
Oh, 100%.
It's so cool.
100%.
It's so cool. Well, we're going to wrap things up here tonight. Busy night. We'll have your highlights from Team USA tonight on Wave News at 11. There's also more on the TBT as the Ville gets ready to take on Chris Jones and Johnson City, Tennessee underdogs. Thanks, Celia. We'll keep up the good work.
We'll try.
Thank you, Heather Pearson, for wishing us good luck. Thank you all. This is a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's getting better with each show, I think.
I think so. And honestly, the other thing is, we're here for you. So do us a favor. And if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, if there's some topic that you want us to discuss, any story ideas that you may have as well, you can connect with us. It's very easy to do so. Whether that be commenting right here on whatever medium you're watching us on. If it's Facebook, comment on Facebook. If you find us on Twitter,
like Celia did.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing that. Heather and Celia, we are really appreciative of you. And, we would love to be able to tell the stories that are out there, just like what we were able to do today. And so that's something that's a really special opportunity for us. Do us a favor. Go on Twitter. Find us. Or do I even call it Twitter? At this point,
X gonna give it to you.
Oh God! I gotta say, the funniest thing that I saw today, by the way, with X, is that at X, the handle at X is taken.
He didn't know it. He didn't know the domain.
So he pay so much money for that. Anyway, sorry, that has nothing to do with sports, but I just find it the whole thing is insane. But go to X Twitter. What was our X Twitter? And find us at Wave News Sports. Follow us there. We're going to post a lot of our content there. You can find also Kendrick and myself on Twitter as well. He's at Kendrick Haskins. I'm at Dusty Baker TV. And we're here to provide you the content that you deserve.
All right, and we've got coming up in the next week. So we have UK Football Media Day is next week. We're going to hear from Kenny Payne on Friday, so we'll be able to talk about that on Friday. And we got a busy weekend coming up, and hopefully we have a TBT game on Saturday.
I hope so. MLB trade deadline is on Monday as well, so keeping an eye on that.
You're still holding out hope for Ohtani for.
I wonder. Every day that goes by that the Angels win, it makes it that much less likely. But I will tell you this: Dylan Cease. Holy cow, if the Reds can find a way to swoop in and get Dylan Cease, watch out, because the Reds could be really good. I do wonder, though, what it's going to cost them. Does Jonathan India part? I don't know. So that's the rumor.
I just want them to get past the Brewers at some point.
Yeah, they can't seem to do that. They didn't do it again today.
Brewers have been their bug.
They really have. It's the Brewers have the edge. They got the beer.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. You can't really solve that one.
It's the middle of high life. All right, we'll wrap things up here for Dusty Baker. I'm Kendrick Haskins. We will see you all tomorrow.